Welcome back, fans, to another special beer review. Yes, we're going back to the second of the Gulden Drakk Prestige limited editions. This was the second one. I can't pronounce this name, but it's like Laphroaig or Laphroaig or something like that. That's the name of the single malt whiskey in Scotland that they use. This is lot number 1 again of 2020. Comes in at 10.5%, aged for 8 weeks in the Laphroaig whiskey barrels. It's then aged in a Jim Beam barrel, and second fermentation aged in another barrel is in the Scottish distillery single malt Laphroaig. So Jim Beam and Laphroaig, whatever it's called. I'm going to call it Lap for short. So Jim Beam and Lap barrels. So Jim Beam first, then the Lap barrel. And again, as we can see there, it's got the seal of approval. It's like the wax stamp they used to have back in the olden days. And again, signed by the people from Gulden Drakk. Again, very under pressure beer. This again was corked, nothing fancy, not even a wine cork with a cage, and a little bit of string that came with it. Again, as soon as you crack this open, it just nothing. It just doesn't wait for no one. Just going to give myself a bit more of a head on that because I think I could do a bit of shit. Oh wow! Just tasted that by accident. Okay, so I'm going to ignore the flavour for the minute. No design on the bottle, comes completely designless other than the little tag. So for an 8-week aged beer, oh shit, I've got to be very careful. That head, you can see the head is right on the top there. It's foamy, it's fluffy, soapy looking, a combination between a white and a beige. The beer itself is like of a ruby red copper colour, almost like a typical English ale colour. Carbonation is streaming quite well, and it looks fantastic. There's a little thin head on it, but it's thick. It might not be depth wise, but it's, believe you me, the volume of bubbles and stuff there is incredible. Right, I was lucky to get my hands on this. This was only released again a couple of weeks ago. Hopefully I'm the first one on YouTube to do this as well. But if I'm not, then damn it, but never mind. I can just smell that sort of, I can smell what smells like a very mild whiskey, and that to me, the smell of this reminds me of the Isle of Jura whiskey from Scotland. Single malt as well, brilliantly aged. Smells like that sort of mild malt that's like a nice sort of earthy whiskey smell. I will add as well, apparently the Lap or Laphroaig, whatever you want to call it, is actually a single malt whiskey that's aged for 12 years. So not only has it been aged for 12 years, but you can imagine the flavours coming into this. It's going to be immense. The bourbon one was very nice, so this is the Scotch whiskey one, and I'm looking forward to it because I do love a drop of whiskey, so hopefully this will tick all my boxes, and hopefully yours too. Alright, here we go. Weirdly enough, it's not as rich and as powerful as the bourbon version. The bourbon version is really out there. It's got the fruit, it's got the bourbon punch and everything, the richness that the bourbon stands for. This doesn't. This has gone the opposite way. This is like, reminds me, is exactly of Delirium Blonde and Delirium Black. Them two special edition beers as well. They're very similar, as in the black was the more flavoursome, the blonde wasn't. This kind of isn't. What I'm getting here though is still nice flavours, don't get me wrong. The head is foamy, it's soft, it's got a hint of vanilla in it. The flavour comes in of, I'm getting a little bit of that whiskey. There is that sort of single malt flavour. I can't describe it. But it, oh god. but it's there. This feels a lot more milder in the mouth as well. It's not as flavoursome. It's almost a bit more timid, a bit more toned down than its counterpart. To me, it's got that whiskey flavour, that single malt grain with vanilla, slight bit of toffee, pure whiskey. And I think from the Jim Beam, what I'm getting is probably more that toffee side of things. There's that little note of toffee. The bourbon doesn't come in, or the Jim Beam rather, doesn't really come in much. It's mostly dominated by that Scotch whiskey. It's very light and palatable. The carbonation is virtually non-existent in the mouth. But I think the more I drink this, the more it's going to get better and better and better, because the last one I did, the bourbon one, was just straight out awesome. It was just bang, blow your socks off. This maybe take a bit of getting used to. I tend to find this is more gentlemanly. I can imagine, and I know it sounds really bizarre, but I can imagine old English gents, you know, in like silk robes or whatever they're called, you know, smoking jackets and stuff, sitting around a fireplace enjoying this game. Oh yes, well done, chap, very good indeed. You know, oh, this is absolutely wonderful. You know, that's what I get. It's like a gentleman's drink. It's grown up. That whiskey proves it's not a beer to be messed with. If you like a good quality scotch, you like a good quality beer, then look no further than this, because this does both. This ticks both boxes. It feels almost lighter in flavour. The flavours aren't as intense. It feels lighter. The body's a lot lighter. And again, for a 10.5% beer, insanely drinkable. Like, again, it's dangerous. I always say this, and I've coined the term dangerous beers, because beers like this are high alcohol content, but they don't taste what they actually are. This is what, 10.5%, as we can see somewhere on there, about there. Does it taste like a 10.5? No, it probably tastes about a 7 or an 8 at most. Aftertaste again is of a clash between the Jim Beam and the whiskey. There's that sort of aftertaste, and they clash very well. I'm not sure what I'm getting most of, if it's the Jim Beam or if it's the whiskey. They're very evenly matched. So overall, a very pleasant aftertaste and a very pleasant drinking experience, actually. Which one would I prefer out of the two? Well, it's got to be the bourbon. I think the bourbon one, to me, is more my style, because I'm used to drinking rich Gulden drakk flavours. The Calvados was rich. 9000 quadruple was rich. You know, I love that rich flavour, but this is still a bloody good contender and well worth the purchase. And again, £13 a bottle for this. £13 a bottle, and it's a 750ml limited edition. To me, it's just a nice, pleasant, easy drinking beer. This will be on my dangerous list, should I ever include a dangerous list. Yeah, it's going to be a 10 out of 10, fans. Got to rate it a 10 out of 10. It's all there. The pieces are there. Mostly whiskey dominated, but again, that's what we're looking at, because the name is the whiskey, named after the whiskey. It's only been aged in a Jim Beam bourbon for a while, and then onto the Scottish whiskey. So, wow, 10 out of 10. Two fantastic products, fans. You can actually get this from the Van Steenberg brewery directly, but they will charge you a fair bit for shipping costs. Again, around about £13 a bottle, and what was it? It was about, I mean, I can't remember, but for two of these bottles, plus delivery, was €44, which is about £38, I think. So what would that be? Probably about sort of $40 roughly, US dollars, for two fantastic beers, though. To be fair, well worth the money. I'm glad I purchased it. And I'm just ashamed that it's limited edition, because I tell you what, they shouldn't be. They really shouldn't be. Fantastic beers. Well done, Van Steenberg Brewery. Absolutely love you guys. You Flemish enough know how to do a good beer. So there you go, fans. I'm going to shoot now and enjoy the rest of this and get myself some dinner because I'm starving. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my video. And I'll be looking forward to doing some more beer reviews soon. Thanks for watching.